All right, so the working class's arch nemesis, at least for the moment, and maybe for the foreseeable future, Kellogg has decided to make quite the decision that I wanted to discuss. This is absolutely amazing. So, if you're not aware, the Kellogg's workers, exactly around 1,400 or so of them, have decided to go on strike to protest over extremely long hours, low pay, not decent benefits, and all the rest of it. The typical story of a striking worker. Kellogg's, and this is the headline from The Guardian, has decided to replace 1,400 strikers as deal is rejected. So of course, they were offered a deal from the company. They rejected it, obviously, as the title of the article put. But let me give you a little bit more insight as this Guardian article points out. Kellogg has said it is permanently replacing 1,400 workers who have been on strike since October, a decision that comes as the majority of its cereal plant workforce rejected a deal that would have provided 3% raises. The bakery, confectionery, tobacco workers, and grain millers International Union said an overwhelming majority of workers had voted down the 5-year offer. The decision follows months of bitter disagreement between the company and the union. The rejected offer would have provided cost of living adjustments in the later years of the deal and preserved the workers' current health care benefits, but workers say they deserve significant raises because they routinely worked more than 80 hours a week and they kept the plants running throughout the coronavirus pandemic. Employees have been striking since October the 5th at plants in Michigan, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. They make all of the company's well-known brands of cereal, including Apple Jacks and Frosted Flakes. That strike is expected to continue. The members have spoken. The strike continues. The union president, Anthony Shelton, said the International Union will continue to provide full support to our striking Kellogg's members. Workers say they are also protesting planned job cuts and offshoring, and they propose two-tier system that gives newer workers at the plants less pay and fewer benefits. Speaking to The Guardian in October, Trevor Bidelman, president of BCTGM Local 3G and a fourth-generation employee at the Kellogg plant in Battle Creek, Michigan, described it as a fight for our future. This is after just 1 year ago we were hailed as heroes as we worked through the pandemic 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. Now apparently we are no longer heroes, he said. We don't have weekends really. We just work 7 days a week, sometimes 100 to 130 days in a row. For 28 days the machines run. Then rest 3 days for cleaning. They don't even treat us as well as they do their machinery. Wow. Kellogg said it would now move forward with plans to start hiring permanent replacements for the striking workers. The company has already been using salaried employees and outside workers to keep the plants operating during the strike. There's a statement from Kellogg's here. And that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Or read from this article. It also points out that the Frito-Lay workers went on strike. The Nabisco workers walked off, and the John Deere workers as well. So they were offered a contract from Kellogg's, and they rejected it. Now, this contract contained minor adjustments to their current situation. It also contained a 3% raise. I'm assuming over the course of 5 years, as this article laid out. We're currently experiencing an inflation. Why is that important? Because an inflation means a general rise in prices. So, needless to say, if we undergo an inflation and you don't experience a wage increase, well, the money that you're earning is less now because the goods that you have to purchase cost more. So in terms of this 3% raise, inflation right now, the latest number I've seen is 6.8%. So we're in an inflation that's, and that's just the baseline. Of course, some goods are up 20, 30, 40%. That isn't a universal for every good, right? Every single industry, right? Different industries have different rates of inflation. But the baseline number is 6.8%. They offer 3% raises. You're not even offering enough to adequately counter the inflation. So they wouldn't be making more money honestly at all. So they were right to overwhelmingly reject this offer. And it also talked about how it would screw the newer workers. And so that's incredible solidarity for them. But not only are they replacing these people, but they're shipping jobs out of the country, offshoring these jobs. That's what that means. Taking them to Mexico or whatever. This is outstanding. This behavior from Kellogg's here. And Joe Biden came out and issued a statement saying, essentially condemning what Kellogg's is doing. Well, wait a minute. This is what's getting to me. Joe Biden, over this entire tenure as president so far, has essentially just done a bunch of fucking word salad for unions and workers. That's it. He hasn't done anything, actual to help them. No, he'll just come out and say the word union and they'll call him a hero on corporate media. This is amazing. So he comes out and he condemns it. If you really cared about these striking workers, these unionized workers, you'd call on America to boycott Kellogg's. In fact, that's what needs to be done. That's what needs to be done. Nobody should purchase their fucking bullshit cereal anymore. He should have railed against them and said, hey, you stop doing what you're doing. And by the way, no American is going to go buy your shit until you give those workers better conditions than what they're getting. Look up how much the Kellogg CEO is making, or the president of operations, or whatever. The high-ranking officials in that company. I don't know. I'm just saying, look it up and compare it to what the workers get. And I promise you, it's astronomically much more higher than what the workers are getting paid. 80 hours a week, 16 hours a day. That needs to be cut dramatically. They can do it. This is all to make more profit. They're being exploited, and they recognize that. I mean, wow. And, for Joe Biden to come out and issue that fucking statement, and not, there's things that they can do. Like the PRO Act has completely left conversation. He can pass pro-worker legislation. Things he can simply do with just the presidency, improving the lives of workers. Not doing it. Look, man, solidarity with these Kellogg's workers, this is hard. This is hard to do. Imagine you're a striking unionized worker and you see this from the company that you're striking against. Oh, all right, well, you don't want to take the bullshit contract that we sent you? Well, we're just going to fucking replace you. What? I can't imagine. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, because striking on its own is hard enough. Look, man, in order to overcome these types of things, there's going to have to be mass solidarity between the workers. So the John Deere workers that had things actually work out for them decently well, so they got a 10% raise. There were 10,000 John Deere workers that were striking. John Deere offered them a contract before the final offer and said, this is the final offer. You better take this. It's not going to get much better than this. Well, John Deere called their bluff, struck down that contract. Of course, they came back to the negotiating table, offered another contract. So this from Kellogg's could possibly be all bluster and gusto, like what John Deere did with their striking workers. But then again, maybe it isn't. And if it isn't, you got to fight back against it and make them heal the way John Deere did. And that's where that solidarity comes in, where, if you're a John Deere worker, or if you're a Nabisco worker or a Frito-Lay worker, you don't buy fucking Kellogg's. If you're a teacher, a nurse, a lawyer, whatever the fuck, you say, all right, well, Kellogg's, if that's what you want to do, well, then we're going to steer clear of your bullshit cereal.